All right, everyone, welcome back. It is Tuesday. It's a little chilly here in South Jersey. I am on a road test with the Chevy Malibu with the P1101 code. And it's crazy how you only have access to certain information, and then you go and fix another code, and then poop. You fix the one trouble code and you relearn everything, and then you start the car and the engine lights on. You're like, what the frig? And then it turned out to be the battery monitor sensor on cold start. As soon as I turned the ignition, the light was on. I'm like, well, come on. But yesterday, it's everything of everything we do here. You touch one thing, something else goes wrong, or another problem has arrived as you're touching the car or road testing the car or shortly after the car. So I believe we're all good here, besides it's got some electrical issues past the engine light and the battery monitor. So they actually have a sensor on the battery measuring what's going on. Oh, look at that, it was so bright. And then yesterday, I was like, damn, I thought we were going to get through the day unscathed with some nonsense. So we have a regular customer who has a BMW. I forget what series it is. And I have to say he went to Firestone and bought tires. You know, I'm not sure exactly why he did that. I have some customers who are just loyal to tire places, and I don't know why. And this is a prime example of I don't know why. So he takes time out of his day to go back for a rotation and balance. Now, we did his brakes, and the BMW did his cooling system and a bunch of other things. And I think we did his oil change. I forget what it was recently. And then he comes back yesterday, and he's got a bag in his hand, and he's holding a lug nut. And he said, hey, Tony, I went to Firestone to get my tires rotated and balanced. And I was like, okay, so what's up? He goes, this may not be a big deal for you, but for them, it was a big deal. And I'm like, what's the big deal? He said the lug nuts were too tight and their gun was dancing around. And I was like, what? Dancing around? That's what air guns do, or electric guns. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, we've had your wheels off, I don't know, multiple times in the last 2 years. He's like, yeah. He said that, you know, they tried it with their tool, and the mechanic said he can't get them off. And then another mechanic, who was a big guy, came out with like a long breaker bar, and I call it the pretend. You know, the pretend you can't get a European style wheel stud nut off. I'm like, all right, I'm trying to just keep myself cool because we're trying to avoid stress and aggravation in the bays. And he's a great guy, and I didn't want to just say, well, that's what you get for dealing with Firestone. Not all Firestone guys are, you know, not on a level or something like that. So I gave Caleb my 1/2-inch electric snap-on gun that has 3 bars in the battery, and I'm like, yeah, that should do it. And I gave him a 1/2-inch 17 millimeter deep. And I figured that should do it, right? And if not, you get a short, right, and try and get it off. And he showed me one of the 17 millimeter lug nuts is worn, and I'm like, yeah, I'm aware of that. I've been working on your car for 2 years. Between Firestone, me, the dealership, you know, sometimes these European lug nuts, you know, they have that taper seat, and they're stubborn, right? And sometimes they're a pain in the ass. So Caleb's out there, I hear him banging away. I'm like, all right, he's walking around. Literally within 3 minutes or less, he had every lug nut but 1 or 2 loose, just with the gun and the 1/2-inch extension. So I said, all right, I said, which ones are stubborn? He's like, these 2. I said, hit him with the sledgehammer with the socket on there. Couple taps, boom, loosens right up. Couple taps, boom, loosens right up. I'm like, I said, Hula, you see, we didn't do anything special here, right? We just used the gun, cordless gun, no breaker bars. I said, European lug nuts are very stubborn sometimes, and you have to know how to get them off and overcome the problems. Now, were they a little over tight? I don't know, and I don't care because his wheel didn't fall off in my care. But just to say that, he took time out of his day to go back there and get a rotate and balance after he spent his money there, and oh my God, we can't get the lug nuts off, and blah, 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 blah. And basically scaring the guy in general and saying, just take it back to whoever had your wheels off last, which is just a bullshit thing. And I'm glad that he was here and watched the whole process of getting his lug nuts off, which was basically no different than what we deal with every day here in the shop. Trying to get lug nuts off of anyone's car, let alone a European car like a Audi, Volkswagen, BMW, or Mercedes. So, and same thing for Walmart. People go there for oil changes and tires and tire rotations. Can't tell you how many lug nuts and studs that they strip or break or snap off or can't get off, and things like that. So, on one hand, you think you're doing yourself value by supporting your big tire places, but when your big tire places can't even get simple lug nuts off, you have to question their experience. For one, like, all right, well, how can I drive 5 miles down the road to another guy and they do it in the parking lot with the simplicity of tools and ease? I don't know, dude. It's a struggle here every day for me. All right, I said I would be positive. I am. Let's hope that we get through this day unscathed. Thanks for watching.